Hello accounts people, time to have a look at petty cash. So the petty cash book by itself is a book of prime entry. It's used to record small items of expenditure, then we can post into our ledgers totals for the month or a period of time bigger or less than a month. Saves a lot of entries into our main account system. Properly recorded, we can audit it. It's money, it's therefore very tempting to misappropriate, and we can claim back VAT. Might be small amounts, but it's still money we don't want to pay to the government unless we have to. The most common system is an Imprest system. This means that the float's topped up to a fixed amount as and when required. It makes it easy to check, easy to count, and also means some change coming in because the amount that we've taken out of the bank will be an irregular amount. So that gives us some change automatically. Just because they're small doesn't mean we don't need to analyse them, doesn't mean to say they don't need authorising, and we still need to keep receipts. Some businesses can be large amounts, especially if lots of travelling's happening, although of course these days we have business debit cards, and that replaces the need for staff who travel to carry large amounts of cash. I remember in the 1980s taking £250 for a few days travelling around the country. Although we still need to have everything authorised and to record it carefully, what we don't need is a full VAT receipt if the amount's under the threshold. Full VAT receipts for £250 including VAT only, and a smaller threshold, but there's also intercompany rules, so a company might have a slightly different rule, ask for a bit more detail than you need legally. The general rule is we can claim VAT back if we're fairly sure we paid it. Modern tills have all the information on them. There's some receipts coming up later, but the small corner shop might not have quite all the information as clear as you want it on there. There's no need for most till receipts to show the actual amount of VAT that's being paid. We have to work it out ourselves. But those that are regularly used for business, they will. Fuel, for instance, most people want to see the VAT on their fuel, and you'd expect to see VAT on somewhere like B&Q or somewhere that has regular trade customers. And it saves us from the people who ask for a VAT receipt. Well, it's very annoying waiting a queue behind somebody, knowing that what they've already been given is adequate to claim the VAT back. There's three current rates of VAT, of course. The standard 20%, the government lie about 5% being reduced, because most items that I know of that are 5% used to be 0%, and there's a 0%, so 0% of anything is zero. Most receipts and invoices show it clearly, some don't. So topping up then, we mentioned it earlier, we take it from the bank. We can actually take it from a till as well, although that's prone to issues of adding it up and where's the till gone and why has it got a different amount in, and that takes the amount back up to the agreed Imprest, but the actual amount is what's needed to meet the needs of the business. With debit cards being common, some businesses I know of have only £10 or £15 petty cash, some still have hundreds. So we may top it up when it falls low, I'll better top it up now, or just when we go to the bank, well, better top up the petty cash as well whilst I'm there, but always at the end of an accounting period. Basic calculation, so if necessary look at the HMRC's website to check whether what we paid for included VAT. It doesn't need to be broken down on small amounts, we just have to have this reasonable relief that there was VAT on it. Obviously it's best if your invoice or receipt has got a VAT number on it. If you've got the full 20% rate, take the gross, divide by 6, that gives VAT. Gross minus VAT is the net, the actual cost to you. If it's a 5% item, not very common comparatively, divide the total by 21 to get the VAT. At 0% it's 0. If you regularly work with the calculations, you'll soon get to know what the VAT rates are in industries that have different rates, and we can always get a VAT calculator or look it up on the internet. So let's have a look next. Some of the items involved in VAT. So this is a petty cash voucher. So this would have the breakdown. It's going to be handwritten. They come in packs, about 4 packs from Poundland for a pound, funnily enough. Signed and passed by, so that's authorising. That's just to prove that it's legitimate money and we know where it's gone to. That gets stapled to the receipt. And these are typical tool receipts, so well-known retail companies. This one, notice the single asterisk, that shows it's 20%. The others are 0, that's to do with plastic bags, money going off to charity. The 5% rate has 2 asterisks, that's the same in Tesco and Sainsbury's as the Morrison's use letters. But I mentioned earlier that fuel stations, a lot of their customers are business customers, so by default they put VAT on there, and you can see a nice clear breakdown. One arguable or often causing a problem, parking receipts. Well, if it's a normal private company off-road, it's VATable. The VAT number is actually on the back of this receipt, and if it's a council though charging you at a metre, there's no VAT. This one's public transport, no VAT on public transport, no mention of VAT whatsoever on the receipt as a result. So a T account then for petty cash. It's just an analysed, developed form of a T account. It's got ins and outs, debits and credits, just like a normal cash book. So here's one that we've completed earlier, and it's debits and credits. Just about see that it's a T account. We started off with £100 on the 1st of January, then we spent it. These are the little cash receipts that we've just seen. That's the dates. Details doesn't need to be too long because we've got the written details on the petty cash slips. That's the amount that we actually paid, take off VAT, and these are the net amounts. No VAT on stamps, VAT on coffee, taxi fares if it's private hire but not if it's a hackney cab. Fuel's got VAT on it, milk doesn't have VAT on it, and paracetamol's a 5% item. So these are the amounts at the bottom that will actually get posted into our ledgers, and we've gone down to £22.44, gone to the bank, taken the same amount out as we've actually spent, the £77.56, making it back up to £100. And then into our ledgers we will credit the bank with the £77.56 and debit VAT and the individual ledger accounts.